new background. I am in the west coast of Canada, beautiful, beautiful Vancouver, visiting here for 10 days. But honestly, the background of my videos is probably gonna change a lot because I don't have a home. I am a digital nomad, a citizen of the world, and well, I pretty much live out of a suitcase. And for now, I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, in this video, we are going to talk about how to cultivate a true sense of self-confidence. This topic is one of the reasons that I moved my business and the focus of my business from digital marketing to personal development and mindset. I feel like we are plagued with this lack of self-confidence, and it just holds us back from experiencing the life that we want and creating the life that we want on so many levels. So I'm going to share multiple ways and tangible items to cultivating more self-confidence. So let's back it up and think about why we don't have an innate sense of self-confidence in the first place, because it's not just me, it's not just you. We know that everyone has, at some capacity, a lack of self-confidence. And usually that stems from some sort of fear. And those fears may be the fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being wrong, fear of being bad, fear of being ugly, fear of being betrayed. And if first and foremost we can just own what it is that we are afraid of, then it doesn't seem so scary. Instead of there being this big looming cloud of like, I'm uncomfortable, or I can't do that, or I can't pull that off, or I can't be like that, or I can't dress like that, we can instead identify the specific fear that's coming up and name it. Which might sound like, I'm afraid if I present this idea at the meeting, I'll get shut down. Or I'm afraid that if I switch degrees, my parents are gonna disown me. Okay, now we know what the fear is, now we know what you're not confident about. And most of the confidence piece comes down to a lack of self-trust, but we're gonna get there. When you do have a healthy sense of self-confidence where you are sure about your decisions while still being open-minded and being able to be flexible, so not like arrogant, it is a very peaceful place to be in. And I think when we are on this pursuit of happiness, which comes with the desire to improve our mindset and improve our personal development, cultivate spirituality, what we are actually looking for is inner peace, which you can give to yourself in an instant when you have self-trust and confidence. And having this healthy sense of confidence may mean for you that you don't need to ask others for their opinion to make a decision. You feel okay to be alone. You don't overanalyze and play out every conceivable scenario in your mind. You feel safe to take up space, and maybe you even sit up a little bit taller. When you can cultivate this healthy sense of self-confidence, you just get to be at peace, be able to go through the world sure of what your decisions are, but I know that right now there's a lot of stuff getting in the way of that peace. So I really reflected on what I have actually done to cultivate more self-confidence, because for all of us, we all have some sort of innate level of confidence, and then there is the jump or the leap or the gap of where we want to be. So my natural sense of self-confidence may be naturally higher or lower than yours, it doesn't matter, but it's what gets you outside of that comfort zone so that we can be a little more confident and a little more sure of ourselves. So I was thinking about these things and really realizing it is not about face masks and bubble baths. It is not about even buying and wearing clothes you feel more confident in. Maybe those things help you feel more confident in a moment, but the real work is harder than that. It takes more time than that. And this video is gonna be less than 30 minutes long, but after, you're going to have to do this work to actually harness this confidence. Deal? So the first thing for me, and something that actually worked when I started to do it correctly, was using affirmations. And maybe you've heard of this word affirmations or mantras, and it's really affirming to yourself something that you want to believe in order to change your mind about that thing. An example might be, I am worthy, I am intelligent, I am valuable. And the practice is actually speaking these things out to yourself and writing them down or putting them on a sticky note beside your mirror. But even then, they are not gonna work until you believe they are true. But when you hear your own voice telling you, I am brilliant, I am radiant, I am intelligent, I am worthy, then it starts to sink in a little more. In the beginning, when you start saying these things out loud, some of them might feel a little sticky, and those are probably the ones that you wanna work on. So I was working with a mindset coach, and we were kind of testing different affirmations, and you can tell in the tone of your voice, in your body language, if you believe what you are saying. So we were going through different ones. I am kind, I am caring, I am intelligent, and when he said I am valuable, and I had to repeat that back to him, I am valuable, it felt sticky. Like I just didn't believe it. I didn't buy it. I didn't see it. I didn't really understand to me that I am valuable. And when we found this one where it was getting caught up, then we can do an exercise to break down why I did not believe that this was true. We just asked simple questions like, where do I bring value? How am I valuable? And I had to go look for specific evidence where in my life I am valuable. So there's actually a ton of examples. Like, I am valuable because I create value-giving content on YouTube. I am valuable because I am a really good listener for my friends and my clients. I am valuable because I encourage the shit out of people and remind them how amazing they are. So when you can find evidence for any of these affirmations that feel sticky and show yourself you are kind, you are generous, you are loving, it becomes easier to believe and know that it's true. Affirmations and mantras really are an exercise of repetition and full body believing that it's true. You are not done working with a mantra until you believe that it is true, until it comes out of your mouth naturally, until you can confidently look yourself in the mirror and say, I am worthy, and feel that it is true. What I found is it's best to work with just one affirmation at a time, but maybe 3, maybe 5 if you can keep them in your mind. And like I said, write them down, say them out loud. Sometimes when I'm driving around in the car, I just say it out loud to myself, whatever affirmation I'm working on. Or when I'm meditating, I say it 10 times and put my fingers together like this and just repeat it over and over and over. And then maybe take 3 deep breaths and then do the exact same thing again. And all we are doing with this is reprogramming our mind to remind ourselves of how inherently amazing we are and why we are worthy of being confident, because of course you are. At some point, you told your mind the opposite was true over and over and over, and that's why you don't believe in yourself in the first place. So this is just a little correction exercise for your brain. Another thing that I recognized that I did when it came to being more confident in myself was getting clear on what my values are. So then, whenever I am making a decision, deciding what I want to create, how I want to express, who I want to spend my time with, who I want to be in a relationship with, I can come back to those values, know that that is what is important to me, and confidently make the decision knowing that it rests on values. It's not just a random decision, it's based on what my integrity is and what is important to me. When I really sat down and thought about what are my core values and was able to identify, oh, I have a high value on health and nutrition. I have a high value on being creative and having creative projects. I have a high value on compassion and empathy. I have a high value on being generous. Then whenever I have to make any decision in life, it just comes back to those core values. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So it's easy to be unapologetic in your decisions and how you show up in the world when you are sure of what your core values are. I can feel good about it. I don't have to feel bad if someone else disagrees. It's okay if their core values don't align with mine. I just know what's true for me. So discovering what your core values are, it is usually a path of discovery. It's not just looking at how you spend your time in a day necessarily, or what your life is centered around, because some of those values may have come from societal pressures or your parents or whatever it is, and maybe they are still aligned, but there are some deeper work exercises that you can do. So one, for example, is Dr. Demartini. His is called,
let me do a quick Google.
Value Determination Process, and I will link that below. The next thing I have done to help cultivate more confidence, that you can do too, is to unpack negative self-belief. So this kind of goes back to the affirmation one, where it's what do I not believe about myself and what is the opposite thing that I do believe about myself. So any of these negative self-beliefs need to be looked at, and we need to ask questions like, where am I doubting myself? Where is that coming from? When did I first start believing that? Who told me that about myself? And what made me feel like that was true for me? So those questions alone can really take you down the rabbit hole of some serious journaling to break apart why we believe the things that we believe. So a big one for me that I've worked with and I'm still kind of breaking through is I am not worthy of money, and I have to be very careful with how I make business decisions and stuff, and where I extend myself and where I spend my time, and ask, am I doing this because I don't believe I'm worthy of getting paid, or am I doing this out of generosity, which is one of my core values? Because sometimes you can mask, your mind is brilliant at tricking itself into thinking it is doing something for your highest good when it's really more of mode of self-sabotage. And maybe that got complex really quickly because it is the inner workings of my brain. But when you can identify what negative beliefs you have about yourself, whether it's your appearance or something to do with your relationships, your capability in your career, your intelligence, any of these things, we have to look back and say, why did I ever start thinking that to begin with? And chances are it was based on an experience that happened when you were just a young kid, a teenager or younger. I have another video that's called Introduction to Inner Child Work, and that looks even deeper into how the experiences that we have as a kid can really shape how we feel about ourselves as an adult, when really it's not even true. So I'm gonna link that one somewhere here. The reality is, in any given moment, you could become an entirely different person. And sometimes this happens to people when they read a quote that changes their life, or read a book that really resonates with them, or they have a near-death experience, and overnight they are different because their values have come to light, or they realize what's actually important to them, and now they're behaving differently. But what I think is such a shame is that we know that it's true, that you can just change overnight. You can stop a habit, you can start a habit overnight, but where we get met with the resistance is from people around us, and we obviously do this to each other, and we sort of push back because we go to someone and they've changed and we think, oh, you're not being like you, or you don't fit into this box that I put you in. And all of that is actually a safety and survival mechanism within ourselves that is completely instinctual, because it is our brain's job to keep us safe. So we identify this person and our brain goes, oh, they behave like this, this, and this. I know that about them, so I feel safe around them. Now, if they start behaving different, even if it's for the better, something in our brain goes like, what is this? This is bad, this is weird, this is different, I need to resist, I need to push back, or I need to pull away. And that keeps us stuck. And that the way that we treat each other that way keeps us afraid from being someone else, because we know how you can be treated or ostracized or made fun of for making a change. And it's all just weird societal chaos. But you need to choose yourself and your growth. And choosing yourself and choosing growth is uncomfortable, and that is one of the practices of growing. Next thing for me when it came to being more confident was looking at and healing anything that was fear of rejection. So I think one of the big confidence things, one of the big fears that holds us back from being confident is this fear of rejection. At the end of the day, that's kind of what it boils down to. So maybe I'm not going to behave in a certain way, or I'm not going to ask for a certain thing, or I'm not going to ask for help because I'm scared of being rejected. And that fear of rejection comes down to a fear of being abandoned, or sort of like exiled, or not being loved. And that's kind of dark stuff, but it's okay because it's totally normal. And now you have the tools to reaffirm why that isn't true, to look back at that and ask, why am I scared of that? When you can be rejection proof because you are so sure of yourself and so confident in yourself, you've pretty much won. And in the crux of my journey of breaking through some of this fear of rejection, I did an exercise where I had to identify what was the most painful rejection that I could imagine. Who was that person? What are they saying to me? What happened to me? And I just went in and I felt that. And I felt how painful that rejection was or might be. And this was a figment of my imagination. I just imagined the worst of the worst, and I felt it. And it was emotional, and it was sad, and there was tears, and there was anger, and then I survived. So I proved to myself, oh, I can live through this. I can live through this rejection. I'm actually okay. It was painful, but I'm okay. And any rejection that I'm actually facing is so micro compared to what I imagined as the worst case scenario that it actually doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, I am good with me. So if I'm rejected for anything, whether it's business, relationship, personal, random stranger on the street, it doesn't mean that it won't sting. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it just means that I'm all good. Because I know what my values are, I know I'm valuable, and I know I'm worthy. All right, next thing to work on when it comes to self-confidence is self-trust. If you watch enough of my videos, you will know that this concept of self-trust keeps coming back around because it is paramount. Self-trust is confidence, but we need to work on strengthening and flexing that muscle over and over and over. Okay, that was lame. And self-trust is just what I said before. It's knowing that you've got you. It's trusting that your heart and your mind are leading you in the direction that you are supposed to be going. So even when you have moments of feeling insecure or feeling shy or feeling uncomfortable, it's okay because you know that you've got you. But you have to trust that that is true. And these feelings of insecurity or shyness are very real, and judgment is very real, but we can think about judgment in a couple different ways. One, if someone is judging you, is that someone that you really want in your life anyway? Probably not. But when the judgmental thoughts or the fear of the judgmental thoughts are playing out way more in your mind than in anyone else's reality, because most people don't care, and all of the words that you're saying to yourself and all of the fear of what if they think I'm lame, what if they don't like my outfit, what if they don't think I'm attractive, what if they think I'm doing this wrong, is way more likely coming from you than it is coming from them. And the thing is, insecurity does not look good on you. Insecurity does not look good on anyone. And we are intuitive human beings. You have probably noticed when you are in an experience with someone who is clearly really deeply insecure. You can tell because they're over-compromising or they're clearly uncomfortable maybe in what they're wearing, and it's just a mode of behavior that we don't want to be in. Being insecure is just intense self-judgment. It means that you are at war with yourself in your mind, and there's no need. You are amazing. You have done hard things. You have a big heart. You do not need to be insecure, obviously. Okay, and your last tangible action step for cultivating more self-confidence is to practice self-responsibility. If you are fully self-responsible for your life experience, for the situations that you're in, for your relationships, for your job, for their outcomes, then you can be confident because you know that you created this. And you know that regardless of the decision that you make, you are going to be responsible for yourself and you're not going to fall into blame or victimhood. And the last thing that you can do is really identify, what does it mean to you to be confident? Who is the fully confident version of you, and how are they showing up, and what characteristics do they have, and what traits do they have, and how do they present themselves in the world? Because whatever that is, whoever that is, you already have it within you. You just have to believe that you have it, which means pushing through the fear and pushing through the uncomfortability, and then getting to show up in the world from a place of confidence, which means getting what you want, getting to go after what you want, and getting to be happy. Cultivating this sense of self-confidence doesn't mean that you are forever immune to any fear of judgment or fear of rejection, but it does mean that you get to live life for you based on your values. And that is pretty cool. I hope this was helpful for you. Please leave me a comment below with whatever has been coming up in your mind as you listen to these different action items and tangible things that you can do to cultivate more self-confidence. I know that by now you understand that it's not just about faking it till you make it, because that's only gonna get you so far, and buying clothes that make you feel confident, which is great, but again, only gonna get you so far. We kind of have to peel back the layers and see what is underneath that is holding us back. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. If you liked this video and made it this far, please give me a thumbs up. If you're feeling crazy, you can subscribe, and then I will show up on your homepage and you can decide if we want to hang out again. Either way, chat soon. Bye!